Check the mics. Yep, it's all good. How's it going, everybody? Sorry about that little snafu. We were trying to stream our usual members only stream also to the War Room at the same time, but there's a few settings issues that we're going to resolve for next week. So we decided, just due to the timing and because we were already delayed thanks to them starting to install some doors in this room, that we're going to just do a public stream so that everybody can enjoy it, hang out with us, ask questions, talk about how I got crushed by Death Guard yesterday.
I'm ready to talk about that.
Lots and lots to talk about.
Oh, yeah.
Already got a bunch of people joining, so do let us know. How is it going, Lewis Chappie? Welcome. Hope you were doing well.
Welcome.
Get some of these Necron warriors out and finish the bronze armor, which I think looks very, very good with the red.
Absolutely. Your Necron army is really starting to pop. I'm happy to see it.
I think it's actually my best painted army that I've done all the models for.
Yeah.
Because I haven't done all the models for the Ad Mech. Which one would you say is my best painted? If you're including just any of them.
I really like your Ad Mech army. I think the blue is pretty striking.
Yeah.
Necrons are coming along pretty well, though. So maybe next time they're on the table and I see all these warriors all together, maybe I'll change my mind.
It won't be the silver tide, it'll be the bronze tide.
There we go. It's not quite as catchy, but we'll roll with it.
We'll roll. John, have you figured out the secret sauce in time for your game versus Death Guard tomorrow?
As a matter of fact, I have. I don't know if the secret sauce is right, but I do have an answer. And we are going to put that... It is saucy. Okay. We're going to put that to the test tomorrow in the War Room. I've had some ideas on the back burner of, alright, what do I need to do if Death Guard is real? And, well, I have determined, after carefully watching Siegler's game, that Death Guard is real. And so we're going to implement these emergency measures.
Was it the fact that I killed like 3 models?
Yeah, it was the fact that you weren't interacting with him. And one of my favorite things in 40k is interacting with someone who can't interact back with me. I just enjoy that. My least favorite part of 40k is not interacting with someone who is interacting with me. I watched that happen, I'm like,
Not what you want to see.
I do not wish to be in this situation. So much more fun from my end. Don't like being in Siegler's shoes there. No. So, yeah, we're gonna make sure that even if I'm not charging into the Death Guard and punching them to death, as I frankly would prefer to do, but that may not be an option, if we're not going to do that, we're going to have a plan B.
Let's see.
I'm excited for the Warren game tomorrow to put it to the test and see if it actually works.
When do you think you might upload those lists, John?
The Warren list will be up tomorrow morning.
Excellent.
They're already written, but we always share the lists day of. So those will be posted on theartofwar40k.com tomorrow morning. Even if you're not in the War Room, you'll absolutely be able to read the army lists. But of course, I would say that, if you're in the War Room and you actually get to see them played, that's probably the most beneficial thing you could see. And you know what? If I lose, then you'll get to watch the White Scars be humbled. And then I will have to come back and actually start playing White Scars again.
Let's see. What's your opinion on Venatari versus the Virtus Praetors?
Ooh, I'm actually in favor of Virtus Praetors right now. I think that with the points decrease to the Virtus Praetors, 10 points model is really nice. Venatari are still very good. I think what does it for me is that Venatari are pretty darn worthless into Death Guard.
Yep, they are.
They are, like...
You saw Plasma Scepters barely kill anything.
Yeah.
They're basically Plasma Scepters with less strength.
Plasma Scepters that have to spend a CP to do a little bit less, but are tougher. But they're the same cost as well, which is nice. So, decrease in offense, increase in defense, not a bad trade-off, but the decrease in offense coupled with a very ineffective against Death Guard loadout, it's hard to argue for them in this situation. Virtus Praetors at least can hit Death Guard a little bit better. Rerolls to wound will be nice when you can use them. The speed is nice.
Speed definitely helps.
An extra 2 inches, stooping dive is a good trick. There's some things to be done.
But I also feel bad for the Acheron Terminators, which finally got that consistent 2 damage. And
oh my god, I know.
Not really what you want.
Yeah, Custodes Dreadnoughts seems like a really nice way to move forward.
Yeah.
As well as, honestly, I'm actually gonna go look at the Caladius tanks again.
Didn't they go to flat 2? Or
they are flat 2. I was gonna look at the other one because it's like 12 shots from the top gun that are only damage 1. But damage 1 into Death Guard, not the end of the world. And then you can also do the flat 3 damage and have, I think, 4 shots. Yeah, but I would really need to go look at those stats again to see if that's actually worth my time.
Hey Richard, Ad Mech changes with Death Guard, maybe Laz Chickens, Jazz Hand Priests up in value, autocannons down. Yeah, honestly, I actually just wrote a Ad Mech list for next week, which is going to be played in the on Twitch, not Twitch, YouTube, against, I think it is Nick playing his Death Guard next week again.
Ooh.
So throw him into Ad Mech, and for that I went back to 5 Las Cannon Iron Striders.
I've actually been writing with 6. I do 2 units 3.
Yeah. I felt like just doing 5 because I ran out of fast attack slots and I really still want Steppers Raiders.
That's fair.
As many as I can take. So
yeah,
that's
I
why
only
I
take
went
like
for
2 units there.
Yeah.
That makes sense. Yeah, I think that'll definitely get you some results though.
But it's also a change that helps into Marines too.
Mm-hmm, for sure. We're all going to need it apparently. So.
The Corpus Guard Priests are still quite good. I just haven't gotten a ton of value out of them. There's so much screening in the game right now. They're just coming down and blowing away screen and dying in return. I'd rather just save the points, frankly. Like the last 2 games, they've done nothing. I didn't need them there.
So I actually like. I've really liked the Corpus Guard every time I've used them personally. I also, frankly, I really like them into Death Guard. I think.
I don't think Ad Mech needs extra help into Death Guard, frankly.
Yeah, I mean, you may be fine just because the things that are engaging them are already toughness 3, so toughness 2 is not really that significant. Yeah, it may not actually
the amount of
change.
mortals that the list puts out. Death Guard actually don't like mortals anymore.
They don't. They do not.
So
they're still better against mortals than they were before, just less so relative to what they were.
Yeah. 5 of Penal Pain is a big deal.
Yeah, it is. But it's relatively easy to get a 6 of Penal Pain, I think.
Yeah. I know Mark Perry is a big fan of the Plague Surgeon.
Mm-hmm. That's true.
Was thinking if Morty becomes more common, is a Calexis or an Assassin to swap into a Calexis worth a look? Can only get hit on 6s, immune to psychic powers, etc.
I personally don't think that's needed. I think that Mortarion, as good as he is, will be tankable and kiteable. And by that I mean I'm just putting a 4-man Blade Guard unit in my White Scar list. I was down to 3, and I'm going right back to 4. And if Mortarion comes near me, I'm going to charge him with 4 Blade Guard and pop Transhuman. Yep. And everything else is going to walk in a different direction, and then I'll buy myself a turn. We'll keep going. Mortarion will not catch me.
I mean, we saw it even in the game yesterday. Killed 3.5 infiltrators with Transhuman.
Yeah, that's what he does.
That's not great.
It's not the best thing in the world, no. It's not like awful, but you would have expected a little bit better from
a 500-point model
from that man, yeah.
Like the Silent King goes in, for sure they're dead. Right, John?
Not necessarily, actually. With Transhuman.
No, it's the Silent King, John. That's the point.
No.
The King reigns.
That doesn't really matter.
I can't for the life of me figure out if I prefer the old way or the new way to determine who goes first nowadays. I feel like the new way takes something away. Thoughts? Definitely takes away a decision point.
Yep.
I think it matters most for players like John and I, where we just design lists to go second. Our opponents typically want to go first, so most of the time we get exactly what we want.
Yeah.
Regardless of what our opponent was thinking. Now it's in those matchups where you really don't want to go first. There's a great defensive position for your opponent. You have no targets. They have quite a bit of damage once you step out on objectives. Mm-hmm. Not really where you want to be, but you have to do it. So
exactly.
You have to build lists that have those durable units that can sit there for that first turn and survive, and then you get to play the rest of the game normally.
And frankly, with the combination of what the meta is doing and the change to the go first result, I have actually started building more lists with reasonable amounts of long-range firepower. Where traditionally, like my White Scar list, the firepower I had was relatively short-ranged, and I usually didn't commit it early on, and I was very content with the turn 1 of being inactive. I have found that if this change is going to persist, which I have no reason to think it won't, then I actually kind of want to just start shooting on turn 1. And I don't want to play full Alpha Strike. I still invest plenty in board control and close combat and durability. I'm not just Alpha Striking my opponent off the table. But having a couple of units with actual 48-inch range guns, a little bit of indirect here and there, is actually quite useful. I don't mind having it at all.
I think it really benefits the armies that just don't care whether they go first or second. They're just always in the game, regardless.
Yeah. Of course.
Armies that have multiple win conditions, like Grey Knights or Necrons, I think they got buffed by that change.
Mm-hmm. I would agree on that.
don't think Morty has a fallback and shoot option unless I'm missing something.
He does not, to my knowledge.
No, I believe you can just tar pit him.
Yeah, that's really what I'm going for.
Yeah. Oops, Morty's stuck in combat.
Oh no.
Not getting out. For at least a turn or two.
Yeah. I'll take that. And I really only need to time up for one round of combat. And then I'll leave.
Yeah. Then you get the charge moves is basically another movement phase for you to get away.
So. Exactly. That'll get me out of Morty's charge range relatively easily, I think.
Not a member can watch it. We had a little, first of all, we had new doors placed in. They're going to finish them tomorrow. And then we were trying to stream to the War Room and YouTube simultaneously. There's some issue with trying to do both privately. So we're going to fix that for next week. But decided, you know what? Why don't we let everybody in and hang out with us?
Absolutely.
Ask all those juicy Death Guard questions.
I enjoy having
I'm seeing a ton of them.
Oh, yeah, I bet.
Johnny, you're going to bust out the Multi-Melta Dev Rhino tomorrow for 46-inch adventure?
Tempting, but no, I will not. There will be multi-meltas. They will not be on a Devastator. Although I do actually have some Devastators with multi-meltas. They're not painted, and I don't think they're what I want. I'm leaning into my White Scar heritage, and we're going bikes. Bikes are the sauce, folks. We'll see if it works.
Would there be any reason to run the Devastators, or you just don't feel like the extra points?
I don't think that the points are really worth it. I don't like getting that close with this style list. It's definitely not bad. It follows the same logic as the Grav Rhino. It does all the same tricks just while carrying a multi-melt instead of a Grav Cannon. So it's certainly valid and should be considered. I just don't think it's mandatory.
Nothing personal, John, but I'm desperately hoping and making sacrifice to the Dark Gods to see the White Scars go down. That is
Who
Ashley.
said that?
That's Ashley.
Ashley?
Yep, calling you out.
Come on, Ashley. Be nice.
Praying to the Dark Gods.
Okay, hold on.
Exact words. Praying to the Dark Gods.
There is no way that Ashley would say that. Ashley only prays to the Emperor.
Desperately hoping, making sacrifices to the Dark Gods.
No, Ashley.
Are we going to have to put Ashley in a penitent engine?
She's going straight to the mortifier. Put her in the box. Put her in the box. That is unacceptable.
The canon deems it heresy.
Absolutely. Betraying a fellow, oh my gosh, member of the Sororitas. I think that you actually skip the mortifier and go straight to the anchorite. Like the full death coffin. Get out of here, Ashley.
Do you think the Space Marine chapter rankings change now with the Death Guard Codex being a hard counter to the more melee-based chapters?
I think Dark Angels are clearly better than Blood Angels right now.
Is that the only change? I think Ultramarines even go up, frankly.
Yeah. You think Blood Angels drop below Ultramarines?
Yeah.
I wanted to put Ultramarines on the table a couple more times before I said that, but it definitely had crossed my mind.
But going back to the point you just made about having extra long-range firepower,
yeah,
Ultramarines probably do it best.
Yeah, Ultramarines and Dark Angels both do it very well.
The Siegler and Omegas.
Yeah, Ultramarines do the actual tanks better, but it has to be mentioned that Talon Masters and Attack Bikes are both best in Dark Angels.
For sure.
So that part is kind of nice.
Can any other chapter take Talon Masters?
No.
Okay.
It's mostly the Attack Bikes.
Yeah.
Obviously the Talon Masters. And both of those are really good shooting units.
Yeah, volume of fire, one damage shot, great.
Absolutely. Super efficient.
Yeah, they will pick up Poxwalkers, no problem.
That is exactly what I'm thinking. It's like, you know what? If we just kill all of the Poxwalkers immediately and they don't have screens or OBSEC, I think you can beat that.
Yeah, that was the problem with the Blood Angels. They just couldn't kill the screens efficiently.
Absolutely. I am not a fan of that, let me tell you what.
So.
No, thank you.
The problem I found is you just start adding too many shooting elements to Blood Angels. It's not really Blood Angels anymore.
Yeah, exactly.
Why wouldn't you advantage of their special rules?
Unfortunately, I can appreciate that. See, what that actually makes me want to do is, if you want to do Blood Angels, do Flesh Tears instead. Hello, Nikhil.
Done.
It's done. Wonderful. Welcome.
3,500 words of Death Guard in an hour and a half. If I could write papers like that in college, oh man.
All right, that was not an hour and a half.
Yeah, it wasn't an hour.
2.5 hours. I started at 1.
I asked to use the computer at 12:30, and you're right.
Okay, it was 3 hours.
It was amount of time.
Would you like to heroic intervention while you're at it, John?
Can we just be impressed here? Nick spent that long writing like that.
No, this is out of character.
That's awesome.
I'm proud of you.
Thank you. Are you? You're debating him on how many minutes I spent.
I'm supporting you.
Thank you, Siegs.
I like to see Nick writing. Like, it's a great exercise, mental stimulus.
I emailed it to you to proofread.
Oh, great. I'm going to take that back. Take that back.
Oh, no.
No, I'm happy to do so.
Excellent. I'm really excited. Mortarion got a page and a half, single space.
Ashley is making sacrifice to the dark gods, hoping that the White Scars go down on Thursday.
Ashley!
She's turning the dark side here.
My
John wants to put her in anchor.
No.
I'm all about this.
Absolutely.
This is a new era, chaos domination, no White Scars in town.
Great question for you, though, Nick. What do you hope happens with the Drukhari Codex to make them good?
Oh my god, I don't even know. I really don't spend much time thinking about what ifs and what could be's, because, like, what does that matter? So I haven't put much thought into the Drukhari Codex, but I really hope it keeps the same flavor and flair and personality that the initial Drukhari Codex had, the current one we have. When that first came out, it was awesome. It felt like such a really well done book. It didn't age well, but I hope they kind of maintain that sort of personality and feel and aesthetic and styles of the book, while also just making it, powerful with respect to the way the game is developed.
Yeah. One of the things going for them that wasn't going in 8th edition was 8th edition. Their book was probably designed with getting the Aldari buffs, like Jinx and Doom, affecting them. Once they nerfed that took quite a bit of power away, and they also got points increases too. So they're starting this edition probably going in. This is just for Drukhari stuff, and we'll make it that much powerful.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. I'm gonna go drink water. I haven't done that all day.
Oh yeah, you should hydrate.
You should definitely get some water. Based on what we've seen in Death Guard, what do you expect from Thousand Suns? I expect several of the best cults to survive that they have now. I expect them to still have very powerful psychic ones.
I expect their spells to only affect Thousand Suns.
Yep. I don't and their strats too. So like regular Rubric Marines from Chaos Space Marines, I don't expect any of the strats to affect them. But I think they will give a strat, or at least something from each cult, to help the different units that are Thousand Suns specific. So there'll be some Zangor stuff. The Mutilith Vortex Beast will probably have some crazy strats.
The Mutilith Vortex Beast?
It's a great while we stand, John.
Love it. Love to see that, folks.
I hope it's just silly broken. Just so we get Mark to run 3 of them.
Oh, the Mutilith? Oh my god. I would actually hope it's not silly broken.
Just one time. Richard, what's your Necron list looking like into Death Guard? Doesn't change at all. I have ton of obsec bodies. I got 1 damage all over the place. I got auto wounding on 6s, got good AP, command protocols to help where I need them to. Mm-hmm. Nothing really changes. I just don't really charge them in wherever the Foul Blight spawn is. I use the Lich Guard more defensively, just hold down objectives strung out, because Death Guards certainly aren't shooting them away.
Yeah. And
just win the mission, frankly. Let them come close.
Makes sense. Does the Foul Blight spawn shut off auras to affect units that are charged at all? So if a Death Guard charges into Blood Angels, they still get +1 wounded shock assault?
Yeah.
I heard questions.
The Blight spawn only turns off when the opponent... It counts the opponent as not having charged, right?
Yeah.
Whereas if you charge into the Blood Angels, they would still get certain things, or the Necrons would get AP 1 on Novak.
I'm not sure. Let me check.
Alright, double check that. Mm-hmm. I think that's the way it's worded.
That's my recollection, but I'll admit I usually wait till I have the book in hand to go really deep on the reading.
What do you think about heavy Terminator spam in Death Guard instead of Mortarion? Something like 2x5 Death Shroud, 10 Blight Lords. If you're thinking about a list like that, you're going to love what Mark Perry's putting out tomorrow, because I think he has that many.
I think he has 15 Terminators.
All right, he has 15 or 20, yeah. He has some hefty units of Terminators.
You just don't count as having made a charge move.
Yeah, okay. So abilities that still affect you when you are charged.
Yep. Interesting. So that's my new plan of the Death Guard, folks. Wait until they charge me to do my damage.
Devout push.
Absolutely.
That'll work.
No problem. That's my plan. Stand in front of the Death Guard army and let them charge me, and then interrupt. They'll never see it coming.
What do you think of the Death Riders from the Charity Hammer event?
Death Riders are great. I love them. They're very good points per unit.
They're just a super efficient
efficient stat line. My 2 big problems with them are detachments, in that they are Death Corps of Krieg, and I really want my guard detachment to not be Death Corps of Krieg. and I worry about taking 3 detachments and just not having command points. My second problem is the financial cost to acquire that many horses. I personally am starting with a nice healthy base of 0 horses, and acquiring that many is just it's a very strict adventure when, like, for all we know, they're just gonna get nerfed or change in points or whatever.
Or they just take the 5 of Phenol Pain away. Or, a bunch of stuff they could do.
If they just went up in points, they would not be very useful anymore. I don't think their stat will change that much. They usually keep the Forge World stats the same. Yeah. It's just the points are the big concern. So I'm waiting to invest in them until really I'm feeling like that's what I need.
Yeah, undercosted Forge World unit is usually something that doesn't stay for that long.
Yep. Yeah, usually not. So I'm hesitant to invest in them. But honestly, if you play Pure Guard and you want to play Pure Guard, buying horses honestly sounds awesome. I just don't play that much with Pure Guard, and then taking 2 guard detachments and an ally I find to be restrictive. And as good as they are, I don't think that they are good enough to justify not taking 18 Entrapment Fire Plasma and full payload Manticores that reroll number of shots, all the things that I like to take.
Yeah.
But I do think that they are very strong, so if I owned them, I would run them.
How does Sisters fare into Death Guard? Are Repentias severely downgraded and 3 Retributors shooting Immolators the way to go?
I think Sisters can play just fine. Repentia, while they certainly are happier into not Death Guard, are still going to do pretty decent damage into something like almost anything that's... literally anything besides Mortarion is still going to get hit pretty hard by Repentia. And Zephyrim are quite good into Death Guard as well. Now, you do have to be cognizant of the reroll aura, that or the no reroll aura, I should clarify, that Death Guard can put out, but I feel like Retributors, and if you take Exorcists or Immolators, will do very well into Death Guard. So I'm more excited for that.
So you're not really dropping Repentia? Or even...
I think I'm going to go down from 3 units of Repentia to 2, but I was frankly already looking at that with the points changes. I think this is just further motivation that 2 Repentia units is just fine, and a Zephyrim unit is a very acceptable replacement.
Okay, makes sense to me.
Yeah, that's more how I'm viewing it.
Necrons versus Blood Angels. Warriors still the go-to unit for that matchup. Seems like Death Company will turn them into metallic confetti. That is why you set up double turn of 5-up Overwatch with the Silent King full rerolls.
Because only one Death Company unit is scouting forward.
Yep, only one unit. They want to charge you, you're just like, cool.
If they don't, if you kill enough for them to not wipe you, then you're just fine.
Exactly. So it's not a huge deal there. You can also have screens. So in my list, I have Scarab screening as well. You might have Ghost Arcs. So, you have tools there built into your list. You're not going to just put the Warriors on the line, And Death Company don't have Fight Twice or any extra stuff. So even if they have all the buffs, it's still no guarantee. Like I went into 20 Poxwalkers and didn't kill them. And Warriors are tougher.
Yep. That makes sense to me.
What does a wet palette do?
A wet palette.
It's a wonderful tool.
It's a wonderful tool. Is basically designed to make paints that you put on it last longer, because as you put paint on a normal palette, it starts to dry. And of course, you start painting with it, so you're getting some of it, but then some of it will be dry and not used, which is why there's often thick crusted paint on a palette if you don't clean it ever or get new ones. A wet palette is designed to just make that paint stay wet and fresh a little longer, so that you can actually use more of your paint and you don't waste a lot of it on the palette. And that's why I like it, because I don't have to constantly refresh my paint, and it means I have to use less paint, so it's less wasteful.
It's much better for blending too.
That is also true. Blending is a skill I've personally not mastered, so I maybe don't use it for that purpose, but it is definitely good for that.
The Ball Predator to take out the Poxwalkers, keep the Blood Angel flavor. I love your enthusiasm. Let's do it. Let's get the Ball Predator.
Do you have a Ball Predator?
I had a Ball Predator and traded to Warpfire.
Dang it. You should get one. Assault Cannon, double heavy bolter sponsons, buy an extra Storm Bolter to put on top.
Now, is it complete total liability against Sisters of Battle? Or multi-multi attack bikes? 100%, but it looks cool.
It does look cool.
It does look cool.
Really cool, man.
Right, you got to take the Libby then to give it the 5-up invuln, and then just
take a Tech Marine so it hits on 2s.
Just one more. Take the Tech Marine as well.
Why not?
Triple Ball Predator.
Triple Ball Predator meta. Excellent. With triple Tech Marine.
Triple Tech Marine.
I mean, come on, you took a You took a Tech Marine for a bolt gun relic. I think you could take it for +1 to hit.
Did they get rid of the broken +1 to hit aura?
What +1 to hit aura?
They used to have from Faith and Fury. The Tech Marine.
They definitely don't have that
Master
now.
of the Forge. Yeah.
Oh yeah. Sorry, that is completely gone.
Okay.
It's pick a unit.
Yeah.
Within like
reasonable.
3. Yeah, totally reasonable. 1 unit +1 to hit, no problem. I honestly forgot that existed. I've like wiped Faith and Fury.
We never ran it, but it was just something that was okay.
Like, why is this real?
This is really powerful.
Yeah, absolutely.
If vehicles were even better.
Yeah, it was way too powerful. I agree.
Well, you actually saw it in those silly indirect fire lists. It was just like, oh, everything hits on 2s.
Oh my god. Yep. I like my Tech Marine.
Look, if there's any chance of Death Guard forcing Scars out of the meta, then I'll happily start praying to Nurgle for my Miracle Dice. I've been traumatized.
Oh, I'm sorry, Ashley. White Scars are really not that bad. They're very healthy. Good for the game. Con.
Surely if there's a plan to make all the stuff that was good in 8th bad in 9th and vice versa, the Vortex Beast is going to be like Primarch level of incredible. I'm
the Vortex Beast can only take 1 wound per phase. Done. Heals 1 wound every command phase.
For some reason, though, they also drop it down to 5 wounds like the Reanimator. Just give it garbage defense.
You know what? If a Mutilate Vortex Beast was 5 wounds and could only take 1 wound per phase, I would not even be mad.
No, I would think it would be hilarious.
That would be hilarious.
It would be so funny. And
I would even give it 6 wounds.
Mark would run it for sure.
6 wounds, 1 wound per phase. Great.
For all those targeted smites that are going to hit your Vortex Beast.
Hammer of Wrath time.
The Vortex Beast meta is real. It's going to happen eventually. Yeah. Maybe not this edition, maybe not the next 3 editions, but there will be a time.
There will be a time where you're glad that you own it.
Yep.
Like it may be the 1 week where they've submitted a typo. Like right now, all those people who are like, "Oh wow, I'm sure glad I own 120 racks and 30 Reaver jet bikes." I'm like, now is your hour.
Now is the hour.
Give it another 2 weeks, and we'll see what happens. But now is the hour.
Come on, John. It's only $1,000 for those Death Riders.
Yeah, that's why I've not bought that for my second allied guard attachment. I like it, but I actually don't.
Do you think Bash Bros list will be viable if Magnus gets Morty treatment in the new codex? I don't see why not.
It's
viable right now.
If Magnus gets better, then...
I doubt Magnus gets that much worse.
Yeah, he shouldn't get worse.
Even if he stays the same, it's still...
Now, what's interesting is that Mortarion has a special rule that says that if he is in your army, he must be the warlord, even if another model has a similar special rule. So what happens if Magnus has the same thing, which I am assuming he will?
It's fun. It would be funny when Magnus doesn't get the same thing. Morty always has to be the warlord. He's the boss.
Morty's the boss, huh? See, I would feel sad about that because I would. No, I don't know.
I imagine they FAQ it and you get to choose.
If you have both Magnus and Mortarion,
yeah.
But what if he? I don't know. Because right now, if you had a Morty that wasn't the warlord, I feel like it'd be garbage. And maybe Magnus will be fine as not the warlord, but Mortarion has to have his 4 warlord traits to be good, I think. Because a lot of his special rules became warlord traits.
Yeah. I mean, I wonder what they would... Maybe they do the exact same thing and give Magnus warlord traits, or maybe they let him... Does he know every power in the Thousand Sons Discipline?
I actually think Magnus just knows 4 powers.
Maybe if he's the warlord, they let him know extra powers instead of giving him extra warlord traits. Or he gets to cast an additional.
Yeah.
Something like that. Who knows?
I mean, I think you should just get, 3 warlord traits. And Guilliman should too. Guilliman should get 3 warlord traits. Yeah, Guilliman compared to Mortarion is now so much less fun than it used to be. That used to be, totally fine. It is no longer. Yeah. Oof. This guy gets how many warlord traits? Guilliman gets, the 4th best Ultramarine warlord trait. Yeah. I bet 50% of people don't even know what Guilliman's warlord trait is right now.
No.
If I asked you and Nick, at least one of you would get it wrong.
It's not
Actually, I bet you couldn't even get it.
I mean, it's garbage.
It is not good.
I just know it's garbage.
I've never used it.
Is it based on leadership?
It is not.
Okay.
It's something that you would think that I would love.
It's not the CP regen.
No, it's something you would think I would love.
That you would love?
Yeah.
Well, it's not advanced in charge because that would be actually good.
I would love that. I would love that.
So I can't imagine it's that.
It is not.
Heroic intervention.
That's exactly what it is.
Is it low? You do 6-inch.
A 6-inch aura of heroic interventions.
So everybody gets a 3-inch.
Everybody gets a 3-inch heroic.
Which is pretty reasonable.
It's not bad.
It's like not bad.
It just never comes up because no one steps within 3 inches of an ultimate army and doesn't charge. Like, that just isn't real.
The banner +1 attack.
Yeah, exactly. Like, it's just, no. No.
It's the same reason you don't see the Custodies one taken as much with Trajan. It's just
it's not bad. I mean, Custodies also have a 1 CP strat to do the same thing. So if Ultramarines had that, then there's no reason for the Warlord trait to exist. But even so, it's just like, it doesn't come up as often as I wish it did.
What is the biggest meme matchup we can force Nick to play?
Fate Weaver versus the Talon half is like...
It's happening.
It's happening tomorrow, which is honestly
we still have to see Nick's list.
That's true. He hasn't posted his list yet. It's the only list we're missing from tomorrow.
I told him to run something serious, and he said he was going to be serious. But he hasn't painted any of these horrors, which you can see over here.
They're just turquoise. They're just toothpaste, and that's okay.
I told him he can run the Slanesh list if he wants. I think the Taunar is legit. Into demons, at least.
Yep. I agree.
It's actually just a glacial amount of firepower. If I had to face it with Necrons, I'd be like, oh my god, this is a nightmare. It can put out almost 86 shots. I think it's 86 shots that it can put out against if on max.
86?
86, yeah.
How?
Both arm cannons are 3d6.
Okay.
And they're blast.
Okay, so it's 36.
Yep.
Bad start.
The top gun is 3 different profiles of d6 each. And those are blast.
Okay, so 6 either way.
So it's 6 for each, so another 18.
Oh, it shoots all 3?
Yeah, it's 3. And the Pulse Ordnance multi-driver went from 1 profile to now it's 3 different guns.
That are all d6 shots.
Either d6 or flat 2, that's the flat 5 damage.
Oh,
Don't need
Jesus Christ. Okay, so that's another 18.
Yep.
Okay, we got to 54.
Okay, then we got 16 SMS shots and 16 burst cannon shots.
70, that's just 86 shots. Just like a pink Horian, that's not even fun.
Nick gets to play it, though. He's going to enjoy tomorrow. Because we've been talking about how awful Tau are. It's like, yeah, they're still bad, but they can put out a lot of shots if they want to.
Mm-hmm.
Not every army has the tools to deal with the Taunar.
That's just going to scoop up the pink Horian in one turn.
Yeah, it is. All the reinforcement points as well, John.
Yeah. Why is that even real, honestly? I just hate everything.
It got more shots. It didn't actually put that much out.
Jesus Christ. Why? That's so silly.
Nick, how do you feel about building a list with Death Guard while still scoring secondaries? Do you feel as though Plagueburst Crawlers are important versus Necrons for indirect fire? I don't think it's Necrons that you want the indirect fire for. It's a lot of just, I'm going to finish off these small units that are around.
Yeah.
So in the case where you're using the Terminators to come in from Deep Strike, Nick didn't do that because I had Infiltrators, but normally I think he would Deep Strike some of the Death Shrouds. They come down, finish something off, or just whittle it down. Plagueburst Mortar finishes it off, that type of thing. It just lets you interact with objectives that are hidden out of line of sight
for sure.
over the course of the game. And on top of that, they're also good while we stand targets.
That's the best part, just getting a nice
that combo. They give you a different tool that Death Guard normally don't have, indirect fire, and they also offer that, with their strat they can be flat 3 damage, which is another great tool in this meta.
Yeah, absolutely. The fact that it's only on 1 means the flat 3 damage strat is not that bad, but only one CP is fine, I think.
Yeah, I think it's totally fine there.
Yeah.
Did you know that you can bark up to 12 Forge World Remora drones into a Devilfish? Unfortunately, Remora drones are 60 points each. And
so yes, you can, but you won't have them in your list. That's what I'm hearing.
But 12 of them is, 720 points, and then the Devilfish is 90, so...
Casual.
A little under half of your list is garbage.
Is a Remora drone worth taking? I remember there was a small point in time where they were
as Farsight Enclaves it is, because you can pop the strat where you can do mortals to everything within a certain range.
That's nice.
But they have to survive. They can hover now. They can hover. They still have airborne, so they can be unchargeable to things without fly. So,
it's honestly not terrible.
It's not horrible, but it's 60 points each.
Well, I'm also just thinking if Death Guard are super popular, they don't have a ton of shooting. They have moderate mortal wound output. They don't have a ton of fly. It's like, yes, Mortarion can go charge a Remora drone, If you put like 4 Menorah drones or more drones out in like a few different spots, maybe one of them gets shot down if you can keep away from the flamers. And then it's like, one gets charged. You've still got a couple left.
Still not a great defensive
Not
profile,
great.
though.
No. What is their defense?
It's T5, I believe. 4 wounds. I think they went
it's
down.
enough to survive a random bolt guns, not much else.
I think they're -1. They also lost the -1. I think it turned into they count as in cover.
Oh, that's
which would like a
worse.
4 up armor save. I think that's awful.
Wow, that's not what you want.
Now there are farce on the board, so there's something there. You can still get the -1.
Mm-hmm.
It's just.
I thought are they aircraft?
Yes.
I don't think aircraft benefit from that.
Okay.
Same way,
like
Mortarion doesn't benefit from
I still think they're
either.
on flyer battlefield rules.
Got it. Okay. Yeah, that's not great. Unfortunate for them.
I know. I saw 60 points. I was like, no.
Nope. No interest.
Do you think the meta will shift more towards long-range firepower to deal with Mortarion? Seems like this will be a big hit to both Marines and Harlequins. I think most armies are still going to be, let's ignore Morty until he gets close, and then if we have speed, we can just go somewhere else.
Yeah.
That's probably going to be the best way to deal with him.
I think I would agree.
I don't think there are going to be too many armies that are just like, I'm going to nuke Mortarion off the field this turn. Sisters can do it with the multi-melta Retributors.
Yeah, they can.
If you take a crazy amount of multi-melta, like attack bikes and stuff, you can think about doing it. But even then, it's probably better just pick up a couple extra.
Even then, only Salamanders, I think, would actually pull that off.
Yeah.
Although Salamanders 100% could kill Mortarion. Like, without even, no hesitation.
So, I think most strategies will revolve around, let's ignore him until he's actually a threat, and even then, let's tar pit him and
if
go
we
elsewhere.
Can, yep. I fully support that endeavor.
Just
really
seems much more reliable.
Mm-hmm.
Because the time where you just roll below average and don't kill Morty, and then he's in front of your army.
Yeah, that sounds really bad.
Not going to be great.
Sounds really
Then
bad.
he'll tar pit your good stuff.
Yeah.
They still have -1 to hit? Okay. I'll have to relook at that.
Good old Remoras. Howdy.
I am wonderful. How's everyone?
We are doing
What
great.
unit would you upgrade if you could, and how would you do it? Kroot?
Kroot.
Make them good.
Kroot.
They have 1 attack. They have 0 defense. They have no buffs to help them out.
They're Kroot.
They're also relatively expensive compared to other garbage units. So.
Tyranid Gene Stealers.
What about GSC? What about the pure strains?
Actually, maybe it is Aberrants. Or maybe... Oh, man. Pure strains. Dang it!
There's something Tyranid.
Fate Weaver, without a question. Fate Weaver needs
what, aren't we going to get to see Fate Weaver win tomorrow?
You are.
We are?
I have tried to... I had to restrain myself from cutting him 3 or 4 times today. I'm just playing with there's no synergy with him. He's just here. 1,730 points of an army in Fate Weaver.
Ouch.
Well, do we have this list?
We do.
Right.
Well, we have most of it. Then I realized we don't have 15 flamers, so I had to rewrite it. But it is Fate Weaver, the one and only. The Bile Piper man. Sloppy Bile Piper.
Sloppity Bill.
Sloppy Bile Piper.
What is he doing?
He is providing the roll 2d6, roll the lowest for morale. Because I'm hoping to go ones. That's honestly the plan.
This is some Mark Perry jam.
There's a little bit of Mark Perry in here. It was going to be a Flux Master, but now I'm just going to downgrade him to a Change Caster, which is way lamer.
It's not even while we stand.
Not even while we stand, so...
Fate Skimmers?
No Fate Skimmers. I did look at it.
It really is.
So then, those are the HQs. It's 1 battalion. Then it was going to be 2 units, 30 HARs with some splitting points. That's still there. There's 60 HARs. That's going to be working on today.
Working on today. Sometime in the near future.
Yeah, I wrote an article. Okay, I'm done. Right. Then we have a unit of 3 nerdlings just to keep people honest with the infiltrations and whatnot. And then it was going to be 3 units of 5 flamers. Now that it's not 3 units of 5 flamers, because I can't find these flamers, it's going to be either 2 bloodletter bombs, because I got a lot of CP to spend.
Mm-hmm.
That's some sauce and stuff. Or a unit of 30 plague bearers and some small crap like Furies or Solo Fiends or some stuff like that.
Well, the Furies are actually good for scramblers.
The Furies are
actually. Were there plague drones in there?
Oh, yeah, there's also 15 plague drones.
Okay.
3 units of 5 plague drones. With the banner, so I can roll the 1.
I was going to say, I was thinking of there's not a single Nurgle unit that can take a morale check.
No.
What is he doing?
There's 3 units of 5 plague drones.
This makes so much more sense.
He was flirting with the plague bears, just put the Bile Piper in just in case.
Bile Piper and Pink Horrors. I'm like,
I like the 3 units of 5 flamers in it. They felt saucy. It's like, you can shoot them, you can shoot my plague drones, you got these 30, 60 horrors that split to deal with. It's a lot in your face. I feel like the Bloodletter Bomb doesn't really do that because it's not in your face, so there's not, it piecemeals my army into you when I'm going for an overload strategy. Mm-hmm. And then I don't like the Plague Bears because they're not in your face. Like, what the hell are 30 Plague Bears and some Furies going to do? Get ignored. That's not what I'm going for either. So that's where I'm at with it. I don't know which way to go with it, but the 15 flamers was what I wanted.
Alright.
Skull cannons.
Skull cannons. Get the skull cannons.
You want to paint some?
Let's paint some horror.
Paint some horse. All right, I'm gonna tag Mr. Nick in.
Where's my paint palette?
Are non-core Death Guard units any good?
Actually, I don't need it today. Are non-core Death Guard units?
Podswalkers are good.
I used a lot of non-core yesterday in my super awesome list.
Mortarion's good.
Most of my army wasn't core. I had 2 Plaguebear Scrawlers, 2 Bloat Drones, and 40 Poxwalkers, none of which were core. And that's a lot of stuff. And Mortarion, he not core. I had 400 points of core in that army.
The core stuff is good, but the non-core stuff has tools that make it quite useful.
I think it's not if you're not core, you're not good. It's that the stuff that's not core doesn't need to be core because it's that good.
Yeah. Which is a great place to be.
That's a great place. That's exactly where you want to be. You don't want to be the Space Marine Predators.
That's not where destroyers are.
I guess we...
Necrons.
Chaos also has Predators. Poor Death Guard Predators.
Well, we were talking about ball predators earlier. That's the answer.
That's the answer? Ball Predators?
Ball predators.
What's a Ball Predator do these days?
Not a whole lot.
They used to actually be good.
Put heavy bolters on them. I think they put out a couple, a few shots.
I think it was 5th edition.
But they had 0 defense.
Yeah, they were getting 5th, I'm pretty sure. History. Look at this. The horror's got a base. It looks so much better now. That's all it takes.
Where do you see Ad Mech in the meta? More of an ally, mass MSU list with fast attack units all over the board going for secondaries. I think they're a mix of both. I think you basically have to pick which style you want. Do you want more of a melee board control style? Or do you want mostly shooting with some board control elements, mostly the screen, and then you take over the mission later? That's really Mars. And then the Stygies list is more board control in your face, trying to throw 2 invuln priests on the midfield objectives. So you kind of have to... It's hard to split that, because each one wants different buffs. Really, if you take a lot of shooting, you want the fallback and shoot access, and if you're not taking Stygies, that means the Warlord trait, so you're not getting divinations. It's tough choices for Ad Mech, but they're still very strong. We're going to get to see them next week on YouTube against Nick.
What am I playing next week into you?
Death Guard, I think.
Oh yeah, Death Guard again. And my Death Guard ideas have already evolved since my game against Siegs yesterday. I'm trying to figure out... I've figured out the things Mortarions will struggle against, and now I'm trying to figure out how to beat those with my Death Guard. So I'm
just switch around extra things to help out there.
Yeah.
Scares with the 5 of Invuln will tar pit Morty all day. They'll tar pit almost anything in the game. What's up, Gundam? Hope you're doing well. Siegs, who's going to be across the table for the Necron mirror matchup? Necrons? We could get Nemesis. We could get Nemesis or Nick back.
I have a affinity with Necrons. I'm no Necron player. No one would associate me as a Necron player.
You want a second try at the custom dynasty list?
Yeah, but I have flirted with Necrons in the past. I won an Adepticon with a half Necron army. There was stuff with
back
Necrons.
One of those crazy editions where allies were just obscene.
It was 10 Paladins, Drago, 1 soloed Paladin, and then 3 Annihilation Barges, 3 Night Signs.
Seems like a very fluffy army.
It's great.
The Grey Knights teleporting in to help out these poor Necrons.
The Warriors teleporting in from the Night Signs.
Good old Games Workshop from 6th and 7th edition.
That was the best.
Hey, you play how you want.
Well, that was the thing, the problem with the Flyers and the Annihilation Barges is if someone could just kill the Annihilation Barges, you have nothing to play the objectives, and you get tabled the second you have nothing but Flyers left.
Yeah.
So, 10 Paladins. OBSEC.
Is Fate Weaver the spicy demon chicken?
Fate Weaver is the spicy demon chicken. It is awesome. I love it. And Siegs is gonna do mean things to it. I'm honestly not sure what to do because I don't want it to die.
It's not like I'm just gonna shoot Fate Weaver. Fate Weaver is what, 5
You would
attack?
just shoot it on turn 5. You would just shoot on turn 5 just to do that.
I want to kill him in combat.
No. Then you would mathematically figure out how much to shoot at him to leave him at 4 wounds. They're gonna charge him
with the crisis suits.
With the crisis suits.
I'm gonna kill him with the crisis suits. Oh boy.
Leave him at 1 wound, then charge him. I know your tactics. That's some John Lennon stuff right there. Very deceitful. It's honorable. Oh man.
So are you still a Canoptic believer? The Canoptic stuff is very solid. If you're taking the Silent King, it's not really worth it to bring tons of it because you really want the Technomancer with all the buffing tools, and they're not getting, they're not really benefiting from the Silent King. So better to run Warriors or Discard or stuff that interacts with the Silent King. But in Custom Dynasty, yeah, the Canoptic stuff is awesome. Do you guys think Gene Stealers will go to 2 wounds and Warriors to 4 in the new Tyranid Codex? Maybe, but probably not.
No, probably not. I don't
probably not. They just need their weapons to be better.
I don't think they're gonna make hordes just Space Marine style. Because the 2 wounds for Space Marines is really a differentiation thing. They
didn't do it for Immortals.
No, they just need to really, up the damage with respect to durability here. If they're not going to be more durable, they're going to be more glass cannon. Otherwise, they're going to be terrible.
Yeah, a bone sword should be 2 damage or something.
Yeah.
Just help them do something.
Yeah. They need to participate.
That's the problem with a lot of units in the game is they just don't do a whole bunch.
It's you compare your bad units to the best units of the Space Marine Army, and it's it's not even a comparison.
Or even mediocre units of the Space Marine Army.
Yeah, you have, to take units that are doing anything, they have to be able to compete along those lines. That's the competition. It's very hard. It's a high bar to set. Poor crew.
Yeah, crew are just not even in the conversation.
Crew are always in the conversation. Shut your mouth.
Do you think your Necrons can beat the new Death Guard? That's my honor. You can have it now.
There's stuff in it.
What stuff is in it?
Stuff.
Did you just put your hand over it?
No, there's stuff.
Sure. There wasn't stuff a second ago. You have your hand is on the sand.
I'm not putting sand anywhere. He's throwing water in my face.
I stopped you from drinking. I stopped you from drinking water, but I stopped you from drinking the sand. I helped you there.
Or you put the sand there when I wasn't looking.
There's no sand over here. I put the sand in my own water that I was about to drink.
You have robot powers.
All right. But the question to can Necrons beat Death Guard? 100%. 100% they can. Which models would you focus on getting first for Ad Mech? If you're new to Ad Mech, I would get the Start Collecting boxes because they come with the troops. You get an HQ in there, and you also get either the Transport or the Scorpius Disintegrator. Pretty much the Scorpius Disintegrator for starters. So I would start with the 2 or 3 of those Start Collecting boxes and branch out from there. Get some Iron Striders. If you want to go Mars, get Call, of course. If you just want to go more Stygies, get the Electro Priest, the Fulgurites. But that's kind of the direction I would go. Start with the Start Collecting. It's actually quite a good box. As Cerberus Raiders is just automatic once you get them too. 3 boxes of them, minimum 3 units. Nick, what will be the price you pay when you lost to Tau tomorrow?
I'm mentally prepared to lose to Tau tomorrow. I don't know how, but it's just the way the world works. It's one of those things. It's like how Mark makes charges out of reserve, Siegs will roll Feeling Pains, but lately Siegs has charged out of reserves. John 6 up Feeling Pains. It's a very real possibility I lose. Get tabled by Tau tomorrow. Not even just lose, get tabled. I don't think I could lose to Tau without getting tabled. I think Tau are really bad at the mission, right? They just Tau have to table you and figure it out later.
It's the same they have the same play style as 8th edition. That didn't change. It's just they have 1 less turn and it's progressive primary. So it's not great. It's not what Tau wanted. If they got the Death Guard treatment though, where they got some good endgame secondaries to play around with. it would help.
Endgame secondaries, I gotta say, that's the most underrated part of that book.
That's amazing. That's one of my favorite parts. That's why I love Code of Combat for Necrons.
Yeah, having good secondaries, it's like a load off your shoulders. It's the first time I play an army that has good secondaries. It's so nice. I mean, I've dabbled in Space Marines, but I don't really play Marines. I've played Deathwatch twice. Played John's White Scars once.
I like how the Deathwatch ones are just all like, oh, you're playing against Xenos? Great.
Well, yeah, we're specifically not putting me in the Xenos. Thanks, guys. I want to have fun.
What kinds of ideas do you have for Death Guard lists without Mortarion? Or are you still on the Morty train?
No, I'm trying to get off the Morty train. I had my game with him. We're going to retire him. He'll probably make a few more debuts because he's really good. But I don't think he's going to be long-term what a Death Guard list wants to run because there are armies that just pick him up. And I don't really think you have an answer for, Grey Knights with only 1,500 points of Death Guard that are kind of not really put together without Mortarion.
Nick and I were talking about this last night. We were like, yeah, Sisters and Grey Knights are tough. And then you were talking to TJ in the clinic about that, right?
Yeah, TJ also agrees. So, I mean, TJ's of the opinion of going all in with Magnus and Morty Lord Change, which I also think is really good.
How does that even help against Grey Knights?
I think he's just,
assume that's not a matchup.
Yeah. So, but to answer your question, I think I'm looking at a mix of the Inexorable, which is the shooty Death Guard. It's not really the shooty Death Guard, but you can make it the shooty Death Guard really well. And then the Ferryman, which is the Broken Fell Blight Spawn. And I think that's a really good combo right there. The thing I dislike about it, though, is I don't really have a good source of no rerolls. But I put a guy in there that does a 12-inch aura of no auras. That's pretty good, right? The Mortarion's 3-inch aura. If you don't take it on Mortarion, you can get that thing to be 12-inch aura. And just no auras for you. No rights of 4. No rerolls to hit. None of that.
Oh, the Chapter Master isn't an aura anymore.
Well, he can do this. Yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
But I'm just thinking. 12-inch aura of no auras is, pretty cool. And the shooty... I think if you do it this way, you need to have guns in your army because you need board control somewhere and it's not Mortarion. And you need damage somewhere and it's not Mortarion. So I think adding a lot of shooting to the Death Guard list. So that's why I went with Inexorable. That's just an idea. I haven't put it to paper yet.
What's up, Nick? When are you starting that fans-only page?
It's already started. You're late to the train. Ardo or After Dark?
I thought the Custom Dynasty might fit Mark's playstyle better. Maybe. We can get Mark to play Necrons. He wanted to.
Yeah. I think Mark would. Necron.
He'd play the Custom Dynasty list.
Yeah, he would. He would be all in your face with that.
It's like, oh, my whole army's right in front
He's
of me.
like controlled aggro dying. All about Mark. Sustain!
Can the list sustain?
Can the list sustain.
The TJ Nick Death Guard Clinic in the Worm was pure gold.
That's awesome. Really glad you thought so. Do you mean pure gold like funny, or do you mean pure gold like this is awesome?
That's Mr. Adam Lane.
Mr. Adam Lane. Appreciate you.
So if you're a believer, Siegs, we need a full Canoptic list. 3 Doomstalker, 2 Tomb Sentinels, 3 Tombstalkers. I'm a believer in Scarabs and Wraiths. And the Forgeable Wraiths aren't horrible. They're actually decent because you get some extra shots in there, some Meltas. The rest of this stuff is okay to not that great. So I would never run full Canoptic. I would just run lots of Scarabs and Wraiths. Those units are genuinely good.
Mm-hmm.
Nick, how important is it to build While We Stand We Fight into your Death Guard list, and are Plagueburst Crawlers the answer, even though they require us to use MSU, as 5 termies cost more than a crawler?
I think you do need to have a good plan for While We Stand We Fight, or a really good plan for Grind Them Down, because they're the same category. And Death Guard kind of flirt with not having cheap, crappy units that die. So if you can accentuate that, you can get away with not building towards While We Stand. So I think the right answer is to build towards both. If you're not going to run Mortarion, in my list I had Mortarion 2 Plagueburst Crawlers, and I liked that a lot, and I was doing MSU Terminators to get that done. So I would do the same thing, but instead of doing Mortarion 2 Plagueburst Crawlers, I would do a 10-man Terminator unit and 2 Plagueburst Crawlers. So still keep MSU Terminators. Because Plagueburst Crawlers are really good while we stands, but you're right, 5 Terminators kind of botches that. But I don't think 5 Terminators are good. I think it's 1 10-man Blight Lord and then 3-man Death Shroud's about. I mean, at some point, if you just want more MSU Terminators, 5-man Blight Lords become a thing, But I don't know how the points shake up for all that.
New Death Guard feel very much like a slow melee-focused army. What prevents shooting armies like Mass Demolisher tank commanders shooting them off the table?
That's also a thing I'm worried about as like a hard counter. Because you're right, kind of nothing. Yeah, there's a very specific type of shooting that can actually threaten Death Guard. They're not dying to like plasma inceptors, Like not everything just shoots them. But a spam of high strength, D6 damage, high AP weapons like Demolisher Cannon tank commanders, that's terrifying. So what beats that is the tricks, basically. So you could build in speed with more time. You could do like my Fennec Blight Haulers, because they could actually be tough enough to survive that if you stack the things on them. Then have them project the aura, have half move like right in front of an entire guard army, and they're like, oh no, I'm so slow. And then you trap the guard army in combat with your Noxious Blight Bringer.
Yeah, the no fallback.
The no fallback is like the key to that victory. But you're slow, so charging them requires them to be slow too. It's a very multi-step plan, but that's like as hard as a counter you get without being Sisters or Grey Knights.
Also, YouTube flare request, first and second month badge is the same color. Can second month be Mephiston red? We've got the new sub badges on the way. As soon as the artist gets them to me, I will update the different sub badges.
Yeah.
I think one of them is red.
The Flamingo?
No.
Is he flying?
That's an emote.
Oh. What's the difference between an emote and a sub badge?
The sub badge is
I know.
Denotes, it goes next to your name and denotes how long you've been subbed to the channel.
I get confused with all these fake words. I'm gonna get some more water.
Could you get some for me?
I could use some more. You want
Thank
sand in it?
No, I'll hold the sand, please. I agree. Morty's not the answer. Doesn't synergize with the rest of the army like the Silent King does. I mean, he still does. He's a chapter master. Give reroll ones out. He has a lot of different aura abilities that are defensive as well. And then he's just a late game beat stick where you can't deal with him. He's pretty similar to the Silent King. So like instead of fight last, he has the ability to turn off the rerolls, which is still very strong. So Morty is definitely solid. It's like the big thing is he's 18 wounds instead of getting 16 wounds, and or getting like 2 Nurgling attendants that would have helped him out. That's the big deal, is because multi-melter retributors will just show up and nuke him off the board with miracle dice. That's where he falls short, and that's what Nick is worried about. Also, Grey Knights just dominate him because he's a demon. So, because he has 2 particularly bad matchups, and those happen to be 2 actually very strong armies, Nick is more leery of building around him. Because you don't want to go to an event, especially like a 9-round event. You could play Grey Knights. You're certainly going to play Sisters at some point, I would say.
And also, I don't have to play Mortarion for Mortarion to affect the meta. Enough people are going to play Mortarion, because he's Mortarion and he's obvious and he's like a win button in most people's eyes. So people are just going to play Mortarion, which means the good Space Marine players are going to already account for that.
Calculated decisions.
Yeah. Dominoes.
Nick, I've only used my Deathwatch a few times. I heard your podcast, but still aren't sure how to play into Necrons or other Marines.
Sorry, what was the...
Deathwatch into Necrons or the Marine Mirror matchup?
Well, the Necrons are really easy for Deathwatch, just because you have the amazing stratagem against them, -1.
Only 1 sequence of shooting.
Yes, but you can have 1 sequence of shooting be like tremendously powerful, and depending on what your list is. Like, you could, if you were worried about Necrons, you could take a unit of veterans with like 5 Terminators. I would do 4 with... only 3 can take Cyclone missiles. So 3 Cyclone missiles, and then 4 veterans with missiles. And then you have, 10 D6, 60 missile shots because it's a blast weapon. And then you pop, it's Dev Doctrine on that unit, so it's AP1, it ignores cover, so it's putting them on their 5-up invul. Then you pop your Tome of Epiclades with Nominate Necron Warriors, so you just reroll all your to-wound rolls against them. And then you basically just scoop an entire unit of Warriors for free right there.
Not for free. How many points?
Well, not free. But like, that's not just a bad unit though. Like, that unit shoots 10 missile launcher shots in Dev Doctrine and ignore cover. Like, that's just a really powerful amount of shooting, and it's not really easy to kill because it's from the backfield, and it can teleport. So that's a unit. It's not that much either. It's only like 370 points, which sounds like a lot, but that's everything in Deathwatch is 300-something points. So basically, you get 5 real units in your Deathwatch army, like 5 10-mans of your choice, what they are. Whether they're veteran squads or plasma inceptors and eradicators and things like that. You get 5 of them, or 4.5 depending on how expensive you go. And that's one of your options.
Yeah. You have to make every single unit count.
Exactly.
And there's just no real leeway for Death Watch.
Yeah. As far as Space Marine mirrors, that's a lot more complicated because Space Marine mirrors are so different. I'm pretty sure when we did this... Oh, no, because we did the new format. Space Marine mirrors, I don't know. I'd say... I don't really make... When I design lists, I don't really plan for the mirror because it's the mirror. You just kind of... You have to acknowledge if it's a mirror that's going to be decided by like a die roll or something. Like Magnus versus Magnus is kind of just like who gets Death Hex off and kills the other Magnus. So that's a mirror I'm very much like... that's just the way that plays. Versus a Space Marine mirror is way more tactical because you have the same units and no one unit is the all-stars. So it's that's more just like playing chess against like literally playing chess, same army versus same army kind of thing.
It really comes down to how they deploy, if they make any particular mistakes.
Yeah, you're just gonna go through the motions until you trap someone. Basically, it's literally just playing chess through 40k models.
Usually, that's where going first or second is a big deal.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, I hid my army, you can't do anything, I get a free turn of damage on it.
But I would say much less so now, with the new going second.
I don't know, because I feel like both Marine armies probably just hide anyway, and then if you're going first, and you... Like, Death Watch is better going second, frankly, because... they're
really good.
They don't
care
second,
going second.
They don't care, because they have very durable units regardless. Because they can stack the Invuln and the Feel No Pain up. Yeah. So if they go first... They can take a turn of damage, still survive on the objective.
Yeah, honestly, I'd give the edge to Death Watch just because my units are better than your units.
Yeah, I would say that.
With Feel No Pain and all that. And, although White Scars, I'm never going to just say I'm favorite versus White Scars. They're except for Death Guard. Like, White Scars are still broken for everybody else. And that's the thing, John may just play his White Scars exactly as they are and just hope that if he runs into a Death Guard player, he just deals with it, Because... They do have their own weaknesses.
Morty seems way better in Soup than Mono Death Guard.
I think he's really good in Mono Death Guard because he gives them a lot of mobility and board control, which they don't struggle with, but the mobility aspect they really struggle with. So I think a lot of people really overestimate how much damage Mortarion actually does also. Like, mathematically, he doesn't kill 5 Intercessors. Or 3 Blade Guard. He's so easy to tie up.
Yeah, you saw you killed 2.5 or 3.
You're supposed to kill 4 to 4.5, so I did roll a little bad, but it doesn't matter. I wasn't supposed to kill the unit in the first place.
Yeah.
It could spike up and you kill 5 Intercessors, but what kind of,
Yeah, what are we trying to spike up into?
Yeah.
This isn't the highest bar we could set.
Yeah.
For a 500-point model.
Right, so the fact that he can be tied up now, people don't understand that yet, because they just think he's the Mortarion of old. He's not. So, if you just wartime missile him into the opponent's army, he might not die because he's still Mortarion, but he'll certainly just get tied up.
Are we going to see the Great Unclean One Perry's Death Guard machinations on stream anytime soon? You are going to see it tomorrow in the War Room. Mr. Mark Perry is busting out his variant of Death Guard, and I believe doesn't have Mortarion, right?
It does not. It has Mortarion's Anvil, but not Mortarion himself, which is a really interesting Death Guard play Legion because it gives everyone a 1 CP heroic intervention strat, and he has the ability to turn off rerolls anywhere he wants in his army. That's one of the other ones. I think that's the obvious one to build towards, that and Ferryman, and that one I think Inexorable might actually turn out to be the real winner. Well, Ferryman's just broken with the Bob White's one. But
yeah, I think that's just automatic.
Yeah, it's really between...
That's probably the best thing in that book.
Yeah, that one you can soup into any army, and they're just like, ooh, this is here.
There's never a time where you're like, nah, I don't really need this.
I want to be charged.
Yeah.
I'm feeling it today.
I'm feeling it. I don't need to shut that down. Let these Blade Guard get right in there.
Yeah. Welcome.
Please pick up part of my army. Death Guard mirror matchup. Morty versus non-Morty Death Guard.
That's interesting.
We'll probably have to put that on the table to see it.
Yeah, certainly.
It's not like Death Guard have easy ways to kill Mortarion.
No, I wouldn't even try.
Yeah.
I would. Well, actually, they're not. Oh, if he's turning off my orders.
Yeah, he's turning.
Yeah, never mind. I forgot how hard he is to kill him. Yeah, no, I'm not killing him.
So he just gets to walk up there.
He just does what he does, and I have to live with it. That does suck. Yeah, I'd have to see what my actual list is.
It's very similar to the Necron mirror matchup where the other person doesn't have the Silent King. He's just going to tarp it at everything. Make him fight last. You get the Lich Guard in there. Yeah. It means the list that has the Silent King gets to fight in two places. Yeah. They make one area fight last and then murder the other part.
Yeah.
And it's just like, you can't really afford
That's basically what I did to you.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, well, that makes... Well, I mean, your Blood Angels couldn't do anything, but...
Yeah, it didn't matter.
Theoretically, that's what I did.
Do Death Guard have intestines hanging out in the lore when compared to the models? I don't know enough about the Death Guard lore, frankly.
Mark! That is not either of our fortes, unfortunately.
I've not read a single book related
See,
to
this is why we need John on the pain streams.
He probably hasn't read the Death Guard books.
John's read everything.
He hates the Death Guard.
I think he would still read it. I really do.
Okay, we'll see. He comes back. We got our fireplace working. That was awesome.
We did get our fireplace working.
Nick can burn the midnight oil.
Yeah, that's why we were all late for the paint stream. We're sorry about that. But we have a fireplace. That's very important to you. We have these doors. I'm sure you care a lot about them.
They're not finished yet. They're coming back tomorrow.
And what's the status on that dishwasher?
Probably getting replaced.
Getting replaced?
Yeah.
Are we paying for it?
No, I don't think so.
All right. That's what I'm talking about.
It's just an old one that doesn't work.
Yeah.
Why are you so against the festering Death Guard Gundam? Accept the gift of Grandpapa Nurgle. Nick's been stacking up the names to call me.
I'm not stacking up anything. I don't have to call you. You have to call me Papa Nerds.
No, you have to call me the Siegler.
Why? How I tabled you. How
you did? I had 2 units left.
Those don't even. You hid them out of the table for the entire game.
I would have had more if I could have got away with it.
Yeah, let me just lose the primary 45.
I was going to lose it regardless.
I got Wally Stan.
Needed one Inceptor to survive, get those 15 points. That's the one thing I did well.
Proud of you. One of my clients was talking about that game, and we were talking about how awesome Death Guard is. And he was like, yeah, and Siegs played that game masterfully. I'm like, he ran away the entire game.
I tried not to die super fast. I tried to get points.
I don't think you played it poorly. It's just like, you just ran away. I don't know. Wasn't a showcase of your skill, I would say.
No, it was a matchup I wish we could have played Grey Knights or something else into. Like an army that has tools.
No.
If your army is based on doing a crap ton of melee damage, like directly into them, you need to rethink that against Death Guard.
Do you think Keepers could get through?
The thing about the Slanesh list is that if you have the crap ton of Demonettes, I think you're fine because you just obsec all the objectives.
Yeah. Like you trap me long enough while I'm killing you, and then you win the game that way. Yeah.
You actually don't send the Keepers in. I think you wait till the end game.
Yeah.
When stuff is whittled down, and then you send the Keepers in. It's running tons of obsec body. That's why I think Necrons are still.
This is why I want to add a lot of shooting to my Death Guard list because I'm not trying to let that happen.
Yeah, like durable obsec screens. What are you doing against that?
Yeah.
That's not great.
Like, Siegs had no screens in his army, so everything I hit was just quality.
Yeah.
Like, if I'm fighting chaff, that's going to suck for me.
Yeah, that's why I was like, if I'm running 60 Necron Warriors, it's going to take him the entire game to try and deal with.
Yeah, that's a legit problem.
Gunning with the $2 super chat. Summon Captain John Lore. Is John in a clinic? What is he doing?
John's clinic is at 5. I don't know what he's doing now.
John, we have a lore question.
I will summon.
We'll see if we can get John over here.
I'm going to also ask him what that book means.
What's the worst thing in the Death Guard Codex?
Super ears?
Fortunately, they don't have anything that's
super ears? Yes.
Really bad.
How? You hear literally everything in this house at all times. Continue.
How? Even when you're not here?
John, we have a lore question.
Alright.
In the lore, do Death Guard units, like Plate Marines, have their guts and stuff hanging out like some of these models? Is it that disgusting, or are they mostly armored?
I mean, they frequently will.
Okay.
It's not like an all-the-time thing, but it's like they get shot, the armor plates come off, the guts start hanging out, and they're just like, I don't care, I'm just going to keep going.
Alright,
It's
Gundam
not like
wanted
a
to know.
constant feature.
I said you knew that.
You said you read Death Guard books.
Have you read
the Death Guard specific books?
I mean, I've read the Horus Heresy series, which had some of the Death Guard both before and after.
But like
that
a specific
counts. No,
Death
that
Guard
counts.
book.
He's read Horus Heresy. That counts.
Horus Heresy is everything.
It's literally every Space Marine chapter.
But any like specific Death Guard, like a Typhus book or...
No, I don't think so.
No, okay.
Not really a big fan.
I don't think I lost this bet.
Nick, what if you would call him the Siegler, but make it sound like...
Hey, Gundam, that is Chapter Master John.
You've been demoted to captain.
Lieutenant John.
He's been demoted to captain.
Not a chance.
Lieutenant John Lore has a little...
John only gives out a reroll once now.
Lore.
There's no chapter master going on here.
Reroll all my hits when I target Nick.
1 CP.
No, it's free.
No. Nick's a psyker.
0 CP. Selfless slapper.
There should be a strat specifically against Fate Weaver. Where you just get full rerolls. Plus 1 damage. Yeah. Vengeance. Vengeance for 4th, 5th,
7th edition.
6th, and 7th editions.
Fate Weaver's doing good.
What is the worst thing in the Death Guard Codex, Nick?
They kicked cultists into another dimension. Oh my god. They took away OBSEC.
They don't have OBSEC?
They don't have OBSEC. They're the same points as a Poxwalker. They don't have OBSEC. They're not fearless. They don't have Feel and Pain. And none of your strats work on them. They're just nothing. Not even a unit. That's not hard. I think Chaos finally got hit pretty hard too. I'm really sad because I have 15 mutated spawn now. But yeah, those are not what they used to be either.
Well, they were silliness.
They were
Contaminated monstrosity.
Hey, Contaminated monstrosity was broken. Remember when it was 1 CP for a possessed unit?
Yeah, I mean, that was never intended. They didn't understand how that was written.
No, they didn't. They didn't know anything.
Because then they FAQ'd it and it still didn't
do anything.
It's like, okay.
Oh, it's fun. I didn't even tell you. You could have written 60 possessed for 3 CP. All feel no pain up. The game would have ended.
They don't have anything that's really bad. Siegs forgot about Predator. He was talking about Blood Angels? I thought he was talking about Death Guard still have Predators?
They do.
Alright, so Predators and Cultists are the two things that are awful?
I would take a Predator before I took Cultists. I mean, you could pick a Predator before Laskin. It's overpriced, but it'll do something. Like, Cultist is literally you just threw 50 points into a trash can. They're not even OBSEC. Like, they just
It's not an OBSEC trash can.
What is this? Like, the Poxwalkers are right on the same page as them. What are you doing?
They shouldn't just wrote, like, specifically, these are only for Crusade.
Yeah.
You can't take them in match. No more Cultists for you.
Mark's gonna run a unit of 30.
They can't benefit from anything whatsoever?
They can't do the strats or actions, but you
can you chapter master them with Mortarion?
No, that work.
If Wild John remains, what's better versus Death Guard, Bikes or Dreadnought Custodies? He'll probably say both are good. He'd probably say 1 unit of Bikes and mostly Dreads. But if he had to pick from one, I think he'd say the Dreadnoughts. Mm-hmm. Flat damage 3 is great.
I really like the Bikes. But I don't know much about the Dreadnoughts, to be honest.
Yeah, Death Guard shooting, the Blight Lords, Plagueburst Crawlers.
Death Guard shooting is real.
Yeah?
There's good support for shooting.
Predators?
Not Predators. The Plagueburst Crawlers and Blight Lord Terminators can pump out a very real amount of shooting. Like, you can also do bloat drones with the gun. I honestly don't...
Flesh Mower is still pretty good, though.
Yeah, I don't hate it, but the Flush Mower coupled with the 6-inch heroic strat, that's hard to say no to. It's also 5 points cheaper.
How would you rank the top 5 armies?
I don't know what the order is amongst the top 5, but in the top 5, I'd say Space Marines, Grey Knights, Sisters. I think Chaos is a super faction, because now that they have all of Chaos just got Foul Blood Spawn, actually decent indirect fire and stuff. I think Chaos just has so many builds now, so there's just a Chaos, then Space Marines, Grey Knights, Sisters, and Necron. Those are my top 5.
Grey Knights up there. That's going to surprise people.
I think no one believes me. Well, does your top 5 any different?
Yeah, I mean, I don't think... I haven't seen, like, this new Tyranid list that people are really hyped on with the Democarons and stuff. in action.
Well, I think if it was good, it's not any good now, because it literally can't touch Mortarion. Like they live on 1 CP reroll wounds. Like,
but isn't it a ranged unit?
No, that's the Barbed Heraldals.
The Heraldals. That's what I mean. Yeah.
That list is not good. No,
it's not good.
That list is not good.
Okay.
I think that was terrible. But the Demon Karen list, I think, is real. It's very much like the Keeper list. Like it trades a lot of the I'm gonna trap you in close combat for I'm gonna go super fast with Kraken and shit.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, frankly, I would put my Grey Knight list pretty close to up there. Like there's some armies that just can't do anything whatsoever against it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, no, I mean, I think your Grey Knights are amazing. Like, would you put your Necrons or your Grey Knights higher?
Like, it's interesting because I think Grey Knights is one of the scariest matchups for Necrons. Like, if I had to play against my own Grey Knight list, I'd be terrified. Yeah. They have the supreme volume of fire, indirect, so if you're hiding warriors behind, like, you whittle them down with the, with smites and then with normal shooting, then you pull the Necron warriors that are out of line, so it doesn't matter, they're still going to astrolane the rest of them away. Mm-hmm. So, I think it's tough. Grey Knights are probably the best army into Necrons, period.
But, like, as an overall army in the meta, which one do you think is better?
I think Necrons just because they do board control better, and it's really nice to be board control on the whole 2 missions.
Yeah.
But I think that mirror matchup, matchup between the 2 of them is very tough for Necrons.
It's interesting we didn't put Ad Mech in there. That was surprising, but, like, I really don't think so.
No, I mean, they struggle with all the 2-up armor in the game.
They do.
And just cover.
And Electric Beasts just aren't.
They're only 2 attacks.
They're just not good enough to really... Like, they're a good unit.
They're good.
And but you can't put 10 2-up Invul Electric Beasts in front of an opponent's army and say, I'm going to survive. They're going to go down. Yeah. It's not even going to be, like, the entire army. It's going to be, like, a lot of
There's just volume of attacks everywhere right now.
There's so much volume just everywhere.
Now, if people shift to running tons of multi-meltas and meltas in general, that does help Electro Priests.
That's true.
So, is it the meta cyclical?
The meta is like the weather.
Remember when they messed Plague Bearers up for 6 months after the Marine Codex came out and killed them anyway? Yeah. Nick was thinking about running Plague Bearers.
I still am. I haven't figured out what to do since I got rid of my 15 flamers. Can we just do something as flamers? Do you think they can be flamers?
No, they're just such a unique unit. They're on a weird base size, too.
No, they're just on 32s, I think.
No, I thought they were bigger.
Not Exalted Flamers, just Flamer.
Just regular Flamers.
Regular Flamers. I have, 10 Exalted Flamers. Those don't help.
Isn't that the character?
That is the character.
How do you have 10 of them?
I played 7th edition. There was a unit of 10 of them. They were all independent characters joined together. And give them a 2-up reroll Invul.
7th edition.
Join them to 9 Screamers. It was 10 Exalted Flamers, a unit of 9 Screamers, give the whole thing a 2-up Invul. They could turbo boost with the Screamers, and then they'd all split off, and I'd have 12 units with a 2-up Invul.
7th edition was a mastermind in selling models.
I would type all of your army with 2-up Invul, Exalted Flamers. Your whole army tied up.
They sold so much nonsense. Hey Nick, which HQs do you favor most for Death Guard? How do you feel about the new Death Guard models?
Absolutely none of the HQs excite me. All the models are exciting. The models are beautiful, but from a rules perspective, none excite me. I think the Lord of Contagion is probably the best one, but the Lord of Virulence has a good place if you're trying to build a shooty army. You're just going to take Malignant Platecasters if you're not taking Mortarion, because their spells are worth taking, and you need HQs, and all of your HQs kind of suck. So you'll probably do 2 patrols or a battalion patrol, or just a battalion with a Malignant Platecaster and Lord of Contagion, or Lord of Virulence instead of the Contagion if you're doing shooty, and then that's it. That's it for HQs. They really screwed you over because 4 of your 6 HQ options are all Lords of the Death Guard, and you can only have 1 Lord of the Death Guard in each attachment. So,
yeah, not exactly where you want to be.
Yeah, you don't really have much options here.
How would I build without the Silent King? I have a client who's doing really well in the Art of War League. I believe he's in the finals, and he's running a custom Dynasty build, lots of Scarabs, Lich Guard, He's got a warrior unit in there.
Who's he playing?
Wraiths.
Do you know? Well, round 5 of the league just went up.
Did Ashley win, or did the other sister player win?
We'll find out shortly.
Ashley's in the chat. Ashley, did you end up winning?
I'm checking the facts over here.
Ashley's much quicker than you're checking.
Looks like Ashley lost. She jumped down.
What was the score? Sisters mirror matchup must be weird.
Is it Sisters Mirror? Oh my god.
Yeah.
What was this? Oh, this is for last round. Ashley, what table were you? Oh, why don't I just search for you?
This is the Nick searching.
68 to 50. Oh my god. What a great game that must have been.
60 to 58, yeah. Crazy.
That's like
2-point game.
I said, what did I say? 60 to 50? No, 60 to 58. 2 points.
Yeah, it's a 2-point game. Like Sisters mirror matchup, I'm sure that was just crazy.
Yeah. Everything.
And I think it was 2 very different style sisters. One was Mortifier Spam, and then Ashley's was with the Retributors and
that's cool.
Pencha.
That's cool.
So, yeah, looks like that'll be going up against the Custom Dynasty build, which I think the Custom Dynasty build is just extremely powerful into sisters.
Yeah, that's hard.
Multiple units of 9 scares is just like, what am I gonna? You
well,
can't
everything
trade with
you can't everything and interrupt and kill you. It's so scary.
Everything. Yeah.
This is why I really value the fight last for situations like this.
Space Wolves?
Space Wolves? It's not an overreaction.
Played against Triple Doom McCarrans, recently managed to kill them all with a Dark Eldar army. Well, I guess that happened.
Alright.
That says enough. Siegs, which Ad Mech Mars units would you put into a list with Custodes, and what would you gain or lose? If I actually came up with a cool not Mars build, but Ad Mech build with Custodes, and I was taking the custom Forge World where you get -1 toughness in a 3-inch aura.
Let me get the
around the anything with the radium ability. The
one
Vanguards.
Of the bronzes.
So bronze.
There's like a bronze.
Bronze.
There's like a bronze in there.
Weapon bronze.
Weapon bronze.
But anyway,
how does he do it?
That -1 toughness. You send the fast units up there, or they units that come close to you send the Vanguard out. Custodes do like -1 toughness on opponents' units.
You like what I did today, Seeks? Today I washed all the bases. And I'm painting this weapon bronze.
This is some solid work.
I got 2 hours of Chaos podcast to record with TJ. That's when the painting's going to get done.
Which one of you has access to a Tempestus Scions army? Mr. John Lennon. Not a full one, so I don't think he has many Valkyries. But he's got plenty of the infantry. Could we see a shift to hordes if everyone is bringing multi-damage shooting? We already see, like, part of the armies in the game, like the Slash Demons list, well, the Demonettes, the Necrons is very horde-based. The TJ Lanigan style, smite spam behind durable screens.
Yeah, I'm doing
you are seeing plenty of armies that are actually using
the hordes. The hordes are making a comeback, especially Death Guard don't really have great answers to hordes, and Plasma Scepters are getting less and less popular.
Yeah, they killed like 3 models in that game.
Yeah, right.
Wasn't good.
You already dropped to 1 squad in your Blood Angels last week.
Yeah.
It's a slippery slope. It's a slippery slope to no plasmas.
I mean, they don't do anything against Death
You
Guard.
do still have to respect them. Like, have a plan for Plasma Scepters when you go to turn. Don't be crazy, but like they are.
If they're not running really 2. If you're running 2 units, your matchup in Death Guard is awful.
Yeah. Like, some people will just not adapt to Death Guard and they'll pretend like nothing changed.
Yep.
But some people, will change. Not every Space Marine list will standard 2 Plasma Scepters. There is variations now. That's what we're trying to say.
What custom dynasties? He's running the OBSEC and the pregame move, which are the 2 best ones, frankly. I wish it was a little more. There are a couple options that are just below that, but they're just not quite as good as that. Considering how well the codexes have been coming out, excited for Ad Mech codex, but still fearful of the Tau codex. Also, imagine if Crisis Suits get the same loadout restrictions the Death Guard Terminators get. That would be unfortunate, but I would hope that they get cheap. Like, the thing is, I'm running 2 Flamers in ATS, and it's 40 points. You know what 40 points gets you? Death Shroud Terminators, right? They're 40 points, or is it Blight Lords that are 40?
Blight Lords are 40, Death Lords are 50.
Alright, it gets you a Blight Lord Terminator, or 1 Crisis Suit.
Blight Lords are just as tough as Death Shrouds, for the record. They're just not as offensive.
Yeah.
Like,
40 points is a great price for them. It's not a great price for Crisis Suits.
Yeah.
Which have no defense inbuilt. It comes from drones, which are 15 points a model.
Right. With your World's Saddest Violin, I am literally playing you as not even 1730. I'm summoning. I have like 1,600 points of an army. Yeah. It's going to be fine. You have a town army.
No, I'm not complaining about that. I'm complaining about the overall
Well, I'm complaining about that. That's what's happening tomorrow.
Those airburst crisis suits are going to go crazy on you.
Oh my god, your army's so broken.
You remember how good the airbursts were.
Yeah, why are you running that? That's where you literally just... I hate you.
No, I would run this as my generic list.
You'd run this as your generic
list. You need it because you need to take advantage of the Overwatch phases. So that unit is always Overwatching.
Why am I going to run bloodletter bombs?
Well, if you do, they're going to get instantly wiped.
I'm not running bloodletter bombs.
By the way, the Town R has a 1 CP. Well, now that it's a vehicle, has 1 CP Overwatch on 5s.
I'm not charging that thing.
Come on, please. Fate Weaver?
Killing Overwatch.
Alright, Fate Weaver's going to soak the Overwatch here. 270 point model.
Oh my god.
I'm going to see it.
I would never do that to Fate Weaver.
Siegs, which Ad Mech units did you choose? For what?
Yeah.
Which Ad?
Which ones did you choose, Siegs?
Is that talking about the custom Forge World build that I was mentioning? If it was that, it was the Sulphur Hounds, Cerberus Raiders, and Vanguard.
Are these cards good yet?
No, no.
No.
Can we at least paint the tongues?
I'm gonna paint them during TJ's.
Okay, because this is not. Okay.
I hear you. It's below.
These would get picked up at the LVO table.
These would get picked up at LVO.
Reese would come by and be like, "Nick, why are you doing this to me?"
That's exactly what he was saying. He's like, "Are you serious?" I can see him saying, "Are you serious?
Why are you doing this to me?" He doesn't want to do it. He doesn't want to pick up models, but he's got it. It's in the rules. Have crisis suits considered reading some of the work of our Lord and Savior Nurgle? Maybe then they'd be worth 40 points. Let's get them in native invuln and also good in combat without strats.
All right.
I'm killing Fate Weaver in combat. That's happening. I'm gonna make it happen.
All right, don't shoot him.
Nope.
All right.
I'm not gonna shoot him away.
I'll let you charge him if you don't shoot him.
Yeah, I'll put him down to 1 wound.
No shooting. If you use 16 wounds to Fate Weaver in combat with your Town R, I will pick him up there and square.
It's not gonna happen. I'd have to be in combat the whole game.
That's fine.
Frankly, I can fall back and shoot and charge. Fall back and charge, so I can.
I'm gonna get so tabled tomorrow. I'm just gonna be. At least it'll be quick. It'll be a quick massacre. So he's been on a losing end lately. He needs one of these.
I played some tough games though. To be fair,
yeah. Someone had to get run over by the Death Guard.
No, I had to play into White Scars too.
Yeah, you've had a run.
I've been playing good armies, but
and
that's
sisters.
what you want to do.
And sisters. Yeah, you just hit the best 3 armies in the game right there. Like, boom, boom, boom. Get back in your place.
Nick doesn't appreciate it, but I get in there.
Look, you did.
It could have been Nick.
Look, back in the beginning, you were harder to get in the ring. Now you just... It's okay.
No, I play any matchup.
Now you do.
I don't shy right. What's the Town R bet for tomorrow? We need a Town R bet.
Why? Why do we need a Town R bet?
We need a Town R bet.
Okay, what do you propose?
All right. I don't know. What do you want to give up?
I don't want to give up anything. What do you want to take from me? That's the question.
Everything. Your hopes, your dreams, everything. Fate Weaver?
I'm not giving up Fate Weaver. This is my baby. No, what do you want? This is good. We got to make one.
Let's see what Jack can come up with.
This is you, Siegs. I need you to put your mastermind to work over.
Do you have that big Forge World Recruit, the Greater Narlock? No, I don't have it. It actually doesn't have rules anymore. They took away the rules for it.
Alright, here's the dice bet for tomorrow. If I win, you have to build all the hard to build Dark Eldar stuff.
No, I'm not agreeing to this.
This could be good. This could be good.
Nothing of value is worth building all that Dark Eldar stuff. That's some of the most annoying stuff to build.
Just the hard to build stuff. You're so much better at building than me.
I am building better.
So that's why this is efficient. This would take me 7 paint streams to build a unit of warriors.
I say if Fate Weaver kills the Town R in combat, Siegs has to remove the Town R from the stream house. If the Town R kills Fate Weaver in combat, Nick has to warp fire him. I don't want to lose it's actually well painted by the spur. But we can come up with something else to do with it.
The Dark Eldar army.
No.
That should be the dice bet.
No.
You're more likely to win the dice bet.
I'm not agreeing to building any Dark Eldar. John, you can ask him to do a dice bet on that. He'll do it. Go back in the closet one more time?
No more closets.
If you put the closet on the line, I'll put it up there.
I'm going to lose, though.
I know. We could get it one more time.
No.
Oh man, Nick's fingers would get all sweaty. He dropped like 3 dice.
I would just not roll dice. I'd be like, I'm taking my armor save. They're all dead.
They're all dead.
No, I'm not gonna hit you. I'm not gonna attack you this turn. Just shoot me again.
They all missed.
They all missed.
If Nick loses, he needs to wear a shirt that says "Flamingos fly."
Flamingos don't fly though. That's just lying. It's lying to you. So.
Really like the game between you two. Richard never gave up, so that's awesome. I mean, you got to get the points. If you're at a tournament and you're still in with a shot to finish, best overall or.
Or just ITC
or top
points
5.
or whatever it is.
Still getting top 5 going.
Yeah,
5-1
and you never know. Like maybe the guy who went undefeated wins best overall, and then you fall into best general or whatever. It's good stuff. Yeah. Or even just 44th place instead of.
That's what happened at SoCal.
5th.
I lost the game,
better.
and then I ended up getting best overall because I won the rest of them.
You suck.
Nick also happened to lose a game at SoCal as well.
Yeah.
To Tao, his favorite faction. You love Tao.
That was robbery. Pro tabletop, I lost fair and square. SoCal was robbery.
Why was it robbery?
Pointed on a war with no terrain. That's why it was robbery. That's not a game.
Nick lost on heavy terrain pro tabletop style.
Yeah, no. Pro tabletop, fair and square.
You
had to work for that. I gave you an orbital bombardment turn 1.
That worked. That did a lot of damage. That killed like 13 drones.
When I came up with that, right in that moment.
It could have done nothing and it would have looked stupid.
Well, I was like, I really wanted to go second. I'm already down. Let's go for it.
If Siegs wins, Nick has to try and summon Fate Weaver in the next X games he plays with any Chaos faction. If Nick wins, then he has to actually play a game with Chaos and use Fate Weaver. Nick is playing an actual game with Chaos. It just happens to have Fate Weaver in it.
This is, it's going to end up being not a good demon list. I think it could have been a really good demon list if I took the 3 and 5 flamers that we don't have, and Fate Weaver was like, not Fate Weaver.
If he was the regular Lord Change?
Yeah, if he was the regular Lord Change, I'll do a lot for this army. Because then it has a center that's durable. This army wants that. It's like 2 steps away from a good army.
All right. Well, we actually have a Space Marine clinic coming up at 5 p.m. in the War Room, so we do need to get started for that. Mm-hmm. But tomorrow we've got tons of games. So 1 p.m. Eastern Time, that is going to be me busting out the Tau for the first time in a while. The Taunar is going to see the table once
and
again.
And Fate Weaver. Good call.
He's going to table Nick.
He's going to be fine.
He's going to do it in style.
Fate Weaver will be fine.
Fate Weaver is going to get obliterated off the face of the earth.
No.
Yep. No. So that's going to be 1 p.m. Eastern Time. And then in the afternoon, we're going to have our War Room game, which is the White Scars, undefeated White Scars, into the Death Guard. Can they beat the Death Guard? Are they going to get run over? Tune in to find out tomorrow.
Bye.
Thanks, everybody, for hanging out, and we will see you next time.